The Prodigy was directed by Nicholas McCarthy and stars Taylor Schilling as a mother deeply concerned about her son's misconduct. He's speaking foreign languages in his sleep. Odd things are happening around him, and she begins to worry about what could be going on in his head. The implications of this, are they supernatural, or is it something else? Nicholas McCarthy directed The Pact, a film I think is pretty overlooked. If you've never seen it, check it out. But I was interested to see what he would do with a bigger budget and some name stars like Taylor Schilling and Colm, who shows up in this movie as a psychiatrist. Such a brilliant actor. If you've never seen Storm of the Century, I talk about it often. Please fucking watch that. It's so damn good. But it is an early year horror release, and sometimes that doesn't always bode very well for the quality of the film. But not always. It's not always the way it is. I mean, Split came out in January, so you never know. And I was pleasantly surprised with this film. It's by no means the next classic of this genre, but it is much better than the trailers led me to believe. Much of that is because of Nicholas McCarthy. He does some really great things here. There's some very atmospheric scenes. The opening is really chilling, actually. Not just because it takes place in Ohio, but because I was pretty much glued to the screen from the first shot. I love when a director lets you know from the first shot that they give a shit. And I was interested after that. A lot of directors, they don't really try that much with their opening shots. They just expect you to be interested all of a sudden. But when a director is able to just grab you from that first image, that at least maintains your interest, even if the scene isn't as good as that first image. And I think the first shot is damn good. But it also has a nice reversal of what we're used to seeing in a film about an evil kid. Usually it's a possession or something along those lines, but this movie takes a different route. And it tells a story that I wasn't expecting. Because again, I didn't really know that much about the film going in. I had only seen a teaser trailer, and so I expected just about anything. And so I won't ruin it for you if you don't know the direction the film takes. Taylor Schilling is also very good here. She gives a very real performance, and the son Miles, played by Jasckson Robert Scott. In certain scenes, he's excellent, and in others, he's not quite as good. But it's certainly not a bad performance, and his character is integral to this film working. And so casting the right child actor was obviously something on their minds, and they did a pretty good job. He's good in the film, and I could see him doing other things. But there are a few scenes that were just a little off, but for the most part, especially in some of the darker scenes, he's damn good. The best jump scares usually involve misdirection. It's like a magician who's really good with sleight of hand, and Nicholas McCarthy is good with jump scares, and some of them did legitimately get me, and it wasn't just because of the sound effect. It was because it was rather unnerving, and there are sequences in the film like that. This is not a perfect film, though. There are some major issues I have with it, and most of them are pacing. After the initial mystery sets up, and she begins to do her investigation into what could be happening to her son, some scenes are just kind of boring. But there are some incredible scenes. One of the best being with the psychiatrist and the boy is manipulating this conversation, and you realize that something really bad could happen if it goes the way it should, but we know it's not going to. And that scene was great. There are really good sequences like that peppered throughout some rather mediocre ones. The ending, too, is, I don't want to say it's disappointing. It is just kind of needlessly dark and depressing, and it feels like certain things just happen for the purpose of that ending. That kind of... I don't want to get into spoilers. It's hard to see exactly what happen in the way it does unless they really wanted it to end the way it ends. I'm fine with a dark ending in horror. I mean, my favorite movie of last year was Hereditary, so... obviously. It just feels like the emotion wasn't quite as earned as it could have been. Like they were setting up an ending that is even darker than the one we actually get, but it's almost like they were kind of afraid to do that, and so we got this sort of bait and switch, maybe there's going to be a sequel ending, which disappointed me. But still, for the majority of the runtime, I was impressed with the craft on display, and I think this is much better than most early year horror films. I'm going to give The Prodigy a B-. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.